Gonna double check, see if we're live. We are live. Hello and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred today in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things that we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information comes from the smart device application Today in History, What Happened Today in History,
Historical Calendar,
and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources, the music, and anything else potentially interesting that we gather throughout the show, check the description, the underbar, whatever it's called anymore. I am, of course, Aoxander.
I am Senior Lunk.
And you are you. Anyway, on with the show. Today is Woden's Day, aka Odin's Day, aka Wednesday, February 23rd, 2022. Starting it off in the year 303, Roman Emperor Diocletian ordered the destruction of the Christian church in Nicomedia, beginning the 8 years of Diocletian persecution.
Yeah, also in 532, the Byzantine Emperor Justinian I laid the foundation stone of a new Orthodox Christian basilica in Constantinople, the Hagia Sophia.
The Hagia Sophia. Cool. By the way, it's a basilica. But
So I said basilica.
oh, I thought you said ballista.
Basilica, man. No, he's not making a new fucking weapon.
Anyway, I have it up on my stream now. The Hagia Sophia. It's a remarkable building. I'd love to visit it in real life one day. It's really cool. That's a yeah. That's the like the landmark building of Constantinople. Jumping on up to 628. Khosrow II, last Sasanian Shah of Iran, was overthrown.
Damn.
Yeah.
Also, in 205 dynasty.
You broke up really badly that entire time.
Yeah, I know. There's a bunch of fucking I don't know what's going on.
Weird.
Empress Wu Xintang abdicates the throne, restoring the Tang dynasty.
Nice. About twice as long after that, with a little bit more changed, the year 1455, traditionally the date of publication of the Gutenberg Bible, the Western book printed with movable type. Which means, like,
Nice.
they move the blocks for the press. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, in 1778, American Revolutionary War, Baron von Steuben arrived at Valley Forge to help to train the Continental Army.
Yeah, they arrived at Valley Forge in Pennsylvania to help train the Continental Army. Baron von Steuben. Is this the same guy that was in the Patriots?
I think so.
Portrayed as the the guy in the Patriots. 'Cause I remember a French guy. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's this guy here. Anyway, moving on up to 1820. The Kato Street conspiracy, in which a plot to murder all the British cabinet ministers was exposed and the conspirators were arrested.
Damn.
You know, instead of arresting the conspirators, maybe they should realize, like, oh, hey, what did we do to drive these people, to want to kill us all? They never think about that. So,
Also, in 1836, Revolution, Siege of the Alamo, prelude to the Battle of the Alamo in Antonio, Texas.
you were very roboty.
Well, I can't stop it when every time there's a fucking pop up.
Oh.
But yeah,
Oh.
1836, Texas Revolution, the Siege of the Alamo, prelude to the Battle of the Alamo, begins in San Antonio, Texas.
Remember the Alamo, guys. I was watching something about the Alamo. Once again, another Simon Whistler. I've kind of been binge watching his videos lately, and apparently at one point they almost tore it down. The Alamo. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Moving up to 1847, during the Mexican-American War, the Battle of Buena Vista in Mexico, American troops under future President Zachary Taylor defeated Mexican General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna. So I'm not sure. No, like I think because like in the movie The Alamo, the more recent one, where the guy playing Davy Crockett was playing the violin to that Mexican song that I forgot what it's called in Spanish, but it translates to throat slit or something. But during that movie, shortly after the Alamo fell, the Mexican army was intercepted and such. Now I'm not sure if that was like a few days or weeks, or if this is the battle that happened like a whole year later. Anyway, what happened in 1854, Mr. Lunk?
In 1854, the official independence of the Orange Free State is declared.
Nice. I've been hearing a lot about this Orange Free State lately. I want to look this up real quick. Orange Free State. It was an independent Boer sovereign republic under British suzerainty in southern Africa during the second half of the 19th century, which ceased to exist after it was defeated and surrendered to the British Empire at the end of the Second Boer War in 1902. Interesting. Anyway, moving on to 1861, President-elect Abraham Lincoln arrived secretly in Washington, D.C. after having thwarted an alleged assassination plot in Baltimore, Maryland. Yeah, they've been trying. They were trying to kill him since before he got president. But once you get to a certain level, of public notoriety, be it politics, press, entertainment, or any sort of field, once your name starts getting recognized, people inevitably will start wanting to kill you for whatever reason. That's just nature. Sad, but. Jumping on up to 1870, during the Reconstruction era, post-U.S. Civil War military control of Mississippi ceased, and the state was readmitted into the Union. Nice.
Yep, nice. Oh shit, the script done went up all the way up, and I don't want to. Okay, I'm getting to my phone and doing it that way.
Okay. You're having this problem on your computer?
Yeah. I don't got a mouse, and I also don't like clicking and pulling up, clicking and pulling up.
That sounds annoying.
Yeah, so where are we on now?
We are on 1883.
Okay. In 1883, Alabama became the first U.S. state to enact the Antitrust Law.
Now, what is an antitrust law? Let's look that up real quick. Antitrust law is a collection of mostly federal laws that regulate the conduct and organization of businesses and corporations and are generally intended to promote competition and prevent monopolies. Okay. That's what it's for in the U.S. at least. So that's cool, Alabama. In 1886, after multiple years of work, Charles Martin Hall, with his sister Julia Brainerd Hall, assisting produced the first samples of aluminum from the electrolysis of aluminum oxide, or electrolysis. It's cool.
Damn.
Aluminium, which I don't have an example on me immediately. I have some in a bag over there. Those are all empty cans. But yeah. 1 year later, in 1887, the French Riviera was hit by a large earthquake, causing the deaths of around 2,000 people. Jeez. You still there, Mr. Lunk?
Yeah.
What happened in 1898?
1898, Emile Zola was imprisoned in France after writing J'accuse, which was a letter accusing the French government of anti-Semitism and wrongful imprisonment of Captain Alfred Dreyfus.
I wonder if this was before or after a certain community hijacked the term anti-Semite, because it's certainly not what it's supposed to mean in today's world. So, and I have a video on that. I got to post one of these days. It's not my video, but it's one that was given to me by somebody online, and I haven't been able to find it for obvious reasons. Anyway, jumping on up to the 1900s. In 1903, Cuba leased Guantanamo Bay to the United States in perpetuity, which it brought up, a question I had before, that up until, earlier today, I hadn't had answered, which was like, during the whole Cuban Missile Crisis, during the whole Cold War thing, like, you would think that Cuba, which Guantanamo Bay is, like, on their main land, their island, they would not let the United States anywhere near Guantanamo Bay during all that. But as Lunk put it into perspective for me, what was your answer?
A black site.
Well, no, not just that. Like why were they even allowed to continue to operate their
money
black
is
site?
money.
There you go. Money trumps political. Money makes the world go around. And despite, the world's two most powerful nations at each other's throats with nuclear weapons and Armageddon on the horizon, them Benjamins, man. Them Benjamins. Jumping on up to 1905, well, why don't you tell us about what happened here?
In 1905, Chicago attorney Paul Harris and 3 other businessmen met for lunch to form the Rotary Club, the world's first service club.
Nice. Now, what is a service club? What is a service club? A service club or service organization is a voluntary non-profit organization where members meet regularly to perform charitable works, either by direct hands-on efforts or by raising money for other organizations. Well, that's cool. Why can't I tab right? Jumping on up to 1909, the AEA Silver Dart made the first powered flight in Canada and the British Empire. That doesn't mean that it's traveled, because Canada was part of the British Empire at that time. They still technically are, as is Australia. But yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Also in 1917, the February Revolution began when the first demonstrations started in St. Petersburg, Russia.
Interesting. What was the February Revolution, other than the obvious namesake? It's known in Soviet historiography as the February Bourgeois Democratic Revolution and sometimes as the March Revolution. It was the first of 2 revolutions which took place in Russia in 1917. Let's see here. There's a lot of information here, so if anybody's interested about the February Revolution, then I will post this link in the underbar after I tell you about 1927, in which German theoretical physicist Werner Heisenberg, oh, here we go, another Heisenberg, wrote a letter to fellow physicist Wolfgang Pauli in which he described his uncertainty principle for the first time. And I want to look up what the uncertainty principle is, but first I have to post this link here. Now, what is the uncertainty principle? In quantum mechanics, the uncertainty principle is any of a variety of mathematical inequalities asserting a fundamental limit to the accuracy with which the values for certain pairs of physical quantities of a particle, such as position x and momentum p, can be predicted from initial conditions. I don't get any part of that. I got to reread that a couple of times for me to fully understand. But if anybody is interested in this, once again, I'm going to put that in the underbar. And as I do, Mr. Lunk, why don't you tell us what happened in 1927?
In 1927, also 1927, U.S. President, oh shit.
U.S. President, oh shit. When did we have no shit?
U.S. President Calvin Coolidge signs a bill by Congress establishing the Federal Radio Commission, later to be replaced by the Federal Communications Commission, which regulates the use of radio frequencies in the United States, aka the FCC. I'm about to say FTC. Oh my god.
Well, I wonder if the FCC can censor this. So, yeah, that's what I have to say about them. Jumping on up to 1934, Leopold III became King of Belgium. Cool for him.
Yep.
And then 7 years later, in 1941, plutonium was first produced and isolated by Dr. Glenn T. Stierberg. Cool, plutonium.
During World War in 1942, during World War II, Japanese submarines fired artillery shells at the coastline near Santa Barbara, California.
Yeah, a lot of people the realization is coming as more and more stuff comes out on the internet and everything, but people don't realize that the mainland U.S. was under attack multiple times by the Japanese, and I'm not talking about the Alaska archipelago. I'm talking about mainland continental U.S. From the shelling we just talked about right here to balloons that were air balloons laden with bombs literally sent across the Pacific Ocean with the intention to incinerate the West Coast. Only a handful of them, a couple of them actually made it. I think only 1, 2, or 3 of them maybe went off, and I know that one of them was discovered in a forest out in Oregon or something. So, but the Japanese did some pretty wacky stuff to try to hit us. Jumping it up to 1943, the Cavan orphanage fire caused the deaths of 35 girls and an elderly cook. Well, maybe they should have given, what was his name? Oliver Twist more food, that's what happens. Why don't you tell us what else happened in 1943, Mr. Lunk?
Also in 1943, during the Greek resistance, the United Panhellenic Organization of Youth was founded in Greece.
Now, what is that? Whenever something involves the youth in politics, that gets me worried. Because you know how politicians love hiding behind children. The United Panhellenic Organization of Youth, abbreviated EPON, was a Greek resistance organization that was active during the Axis occupation of Greece in World War II. Okay. Let's see here. It was founded after the merger of 10 earlier political and resistance youth organizations, along with EAM and other affiliates and such. Okay, so this was against the Nazis. Interesting, I believe. Yeah, anti-fascism. Oh, ideology is anti-fascism, republicanism, communism, and left-wing nationalism. Yeah, that's there's a couple things that clash right there. What's the word? Whatever. Why don't you tell us what happened in 1944?
In 1944, the Soviet Union began the forced deportation of the Chechnyan and English people of the North Caucasus to Central Asia.
That's never a good thing, forced deportation.
Yeah.
Moving on up 365 days into 1945, during World War II, capitulation of German garrison in Pontzen, in which the city was liberated by Soviet and Polish forces. Well, now there's a lot of 45s today.
Yes. Also in 1945, during World War II, during the Battle of Iwo Jima, a group of United States Marines reached the top of the Mount Suribachi, on the island, and are photographed raising the American flag, the iconic picture.
Yes. See here, Iwo Jima picture. Let's see here. Yep, this one.
It's the iconic picture.
Yep. That was taken today, 1945. Also today in 1945, and also during the Second World War, the 11th Airborne Division with Filipino guerrillas freed all 2,147 captives of the Los Baños internment camp. Isn't Baños mean like bathroom? So, in what General Colin Powell later would refer to as the textbook airborne operation for all ages and armies.
Yeah, Colin Powell. He was the Secretary of Defense at one point.
Yeah, he was. Wow, he was a general way back then. Or actually, no, maybe this was after. So, but yeah, baños. What does baños mean? I know baño is bathroom. Baños. Wait, shit. Toilets. I was right. Baños means bathroom, so that means the internment camp was called the bathroom. Reminds me of my dad's story with the green latrine. You're calling my car a toilet? That's a story for another time.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us what else happened in 45?
In 1945, in World War II, the 11th Airborne Division with Filipino guerrillas.
We already went through that.
Oh, yeah. In 1940, also in 1945, World War II, the German town of Pfalzheim is annihilated in a raid by 379 British bombers.
Nice. Yeah, I see that name, and the first thing that comes to my mind is Filzer. I'm so conditioned.
Pfalzheim.
Yeah. And last but not least, in 45, and last but not least during the Second World War, the capital of the Philippines, Manila, was liberated by combined Filipino and U.S. forces. Nice. Pushing
Nice
back.
indeed.
Yes.
In 1947, International Organization for Standardization is founded.
Nice. Let's see what that even stands for. International Organization for Standardization is an international standard-setting body composed of representatives from various national standards organizations. The organization develops and publishes worldwide technical, instructional, and commercial standards. Cool. Jumping up on to 1954, which is the opposite of 45, the first mass inoculation of children against polio with the Salk vaccine began in Pittsburgh. Nice.
Yeah. Also in 1966, in
58,
Syria...
58.
Well, also in 1958, five-time Argentine Formula One champion Juan Manuel Fangio is kidnapped by rebels involved in the Cuban Revolution on the eve of the Cuban Grand Prix. He was released the following day after the race.
Dang. Nice. Jumping up to 1966, in Syria, Ba'ath Party member Salah Jadid led an intra-party military coup that replaced the previous government of General Alman al-Hafiz, also a Ba'athist. Not a botanist, a Ba'athist. Ba'athist. He's a bathysphere. Then in 1971, during Operation Lam Som 719, a South Vietnamese General Do Cao Tri was killed in a helicopter crash en route to taking control of the faltering campaign. That's unfortunate.
Yep.
What happened 3 years later?
Also, in 1974, the Symbionese Liberation Army demands $4 million to release kidnapped victim Patty Hearst.
Yeah, 4 million more. So they already had a
4 million
ransom and
more.
they added more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hearst, obviously, like William Randolph Hearst and all that stuff, like the Hearst Castle, they were big movers and shakers. I mean, whoever brought the Hearst Castle here, like I've said before, literally, brick by brick, transported an entire facility, like an entire castle in the grounds around it, brick by brick, from somewhere in Europe all the way over here to California. And it's here. Like, I've been to Hearst Castle. They actually have like 5 different tours. The place is so massive that you have to take these different tours for these different areas. We only took one of the tours. We got to see the indoor swimming pool, which is outrageous. Actually, hold on a second. Hearst Castle indoor pool. Just give you a look at the opulence of this place. Look at that pool, dude. Like, you don't even know like where the water begins or ends or anything like that. Like, they have a huge, palatial Roman style, like, or Greek style, Greco-Roman.
Like a Turkish bath.
Yeah, for the outside. But the inside is just like, man, that is so cool, that pool. I'd love to swim in that. Anyway, jumping up into 1980, during the Iran hostage crisis, Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini stated that Iran's parliament will decide the fate of the U.S. embassy hostages. That doesn't sound good.
No, it never does. It never is.
Oh.
Also, in 1983,
81.
the United States. 1981 in Spain, Antonio Trejo attempts to coup d'état by capturing the Spanish Congress of Deputies.
All these coup d'états and overthrowings and everything. 2 years later, in 1983, the United States Environmental Protection Agency, aka EPA, or if you ever saw the Simpsons movie, EPA, announced its intent to buy out and evacuate the dioxin-contaminated community of Times Beach, Missouri. Well, that's nice.
Damn. Also in 1987, supernova 1987 is seen in a large Magellanic cloud.
Magellanic?
Magellanic cloud.
Yeah. And I'm looking it up right here. Yeah, here it is. Here's a supernova. Oh wow, we see it throughout all the years. Look at that. That's cool. We can see the changing of the color, disbursements. It's pretty nifty. I guess that's what this is here. Bright light.
Yep, I see it. It looks awesome.
Yeah. Jumping on up to 1988, Saddam Hussein began the Anfal genocide against Kurds and Assyrians in northern Iraq. Ay. Genocidal maniac. We let him live until whenever we pulled him out of the hole in the ground he was hiding in, literally a spider hole. 3 years later, 1991, in Thailand, General Sunhorn Kongskapong led a bloodless coup d'etat, deposing Prime Minister Sathiraye Srinivasan.
Damn. Also in 1998, in the United States, tornadoes in Central Florida caused the deaths of 42 people as it destroyed or damaged 2,600 structures.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. Tornadoes, multiple, plural.
Yeah, watch me find out Florida man uses magic to create tornado.
I wouldn't be surprised. Dude, Sharknado should do a Florida edition, Crocnado. Like, instead of sharks, it's a bunch of crocodiles and alligators in a tornado.
Actually, it'll probably be a bunch of alligators and pythons, since there are like a lot of those in fucking Florida.
Yeah. Aren't there like a bunch of wild tigers and shit, like escaped zoo animals? Isn't there a gorilla out there? Or something? Yeah. Jumping on up to 1999, Kurdish rebel leader Abdullah Öcalan was charged with treason in Ankara, Turkey. Treason.
Also in 1999, 31 people perished in their town, Gaftor, in Austria, was buried by an avalanche. Oh, that's no.
Yeah, don't live next to mountains. You know, rule of thumb: never live next to mountains. Landslides, rock slides, mudslides, snow slides, lava slides. If it's a volcano, you know, like just don't live next to mountains, guys. Come on, or on them. You know, these nut jobs, you know, living on literally hanging off the cliffs on the coast of California here in their multi-million-dollar mansions, just begging to fall. Jumping on up into 2007, a train derailed on an evening express service near Greyrig, Cumbria, killing 1 and injuring 88 more. This incident caused hundreds of points to be checked over all the United Kingdom after several other similar accidents occurred. So,
Yeah.
they recognized a problem and they solved one. That's good.
Also in 2008, the first operational loss of a B-2 occurred when the United States Air Force B-2 Spirit bomber crashed in Guam.
That's not good.
Nope.
B-2, isn't that the stealth bomber?
It's a bomber. Yes, it's a bomber.
Well, yeah. B-2 Spirit. Yeah, but it was a stealth bomber. So, yeah, so that's how, because I remember a stealth bomber had crashed somewhere, and we recovered the front part of it, but the back part was never recovered, and then we later saw, or, we recovered half of it. I don't know which half, the front or the back, but I know that one of the halves is now in China. This was a thing multiple years ago when it was discovered on Google Maps. There's just half of a Spirit bomber just chilling there, or half of a stealth bomber just chilling there in some backlot in China. Obviously, reverse engineering. Jumping on up 2 more years, in the year 2010, unknown criminals poured over 2.5 million liters of diesel oil and other hydrocarbons into the river Lambro in northern Italy, sparking an environmental disaster. Now, while I was researching and all that stuff, on my source, and I hope they're watching, but on my source, this is what it looked like. And it has a whole bunch of fractured code here. So whoever, if you're involved with one of our sources, please fix this. Why don't you tell us what happened in 2012?
Yeah. In 2012, a series of attacks across Iraq left at least 83 dead and over 250 injured.
Ay. Jumping up to 2017, the Turkish-backed Free Syrian Army captured al-Bab from ISIL, also known as ISIS. The Islamic State, or ISIS, is Israel's Secret Intelligence Service. Look into that. So, why don't you tell us about 2021 here? Close us out for the main body.
Sure. Also, in 2021, 4 simultaneous prison riots left at least 62 people murdered in Ecuador.
Jeez. 4 simultaneous prison riots. I wonder if they were in conjunction or if they just happened.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Before we get into births and deaths, as per usual, any articles here intrigue you?
We've been hearing about the orange states a lot, so.
Yeah. Well, the Orange Free State, which is now, because it was in the middle, it was like a landlocked nation within South Africa. Like the country of South Africa, not geographically South Africa. Well, it is geographically South Africa, but, yeah, I'm just looking through all of these articles here, and I'm gonna have to say the Alamo, Siege of the Alamo began.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, jumping on up into births and deaths here. Why don't you start us off?
Sure. In births, we have in 1133, Al Safir, Fatmid Caliph. Also in 1850, we have Caesar Ritz, Swiss businessman who founded the Ritz Hotel, London, and Hotel Ritz, Paris.
I have got to look this up. Hold on a second. Let's see here. If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go to where fashion sits?
Put on the Ritz.
Thank you. 1868, we have W.E.B. Du Bois, a U.S. sociologist, historian, and activist. Why did I always say Hungarian?
Where Du Bois?
Wait, would it be Dubois?
Du Bois. Dubois.
Dubois.
Yeah, Dubois.
Dubois.
Also in 1874, we have Constance Pats, Estonian lawyer and politician who was the first president of Estonia.
Nice. In 1889, we have John Gilbert Winant, a U.S. captain, pilot, and politician who was the 60th governor of New Hampshire.
Cool. Also in 1940, we have Peter Fonda, U.S. actor, director, producer, and screenwriter.
Yep. And in 1975, we have Michael Cornashia, another U.S. actor, director, producer, and screenwriter.
And in 1983, we have Aziz Ansari, U.S. comedian, actor, producer, and screenwriter.
Dude, you know what one of my favorite bits of his is?
What?
When he was talking about doing some joke, and then he said, jizz everywhere, and then the sign language person did the like it's funny. You gotta go see it. I'll play it after this after we record this. Jumping on up to 1994, we have Dakota Fanning, a U.S. actress. And that's it for the burst today.
And we're not recording, we're live. We don't do that no more.
Well, actually, we're doing both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we are live, and I'm also recording, so that way I have the raw file right there to start uploading all the other stuff. And
okay.
Actually, nobody has any idea what I'm even talking about. I haven't even mentioned, that we have a whole bunch of new channels on YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, called the OMNI Coalition. That the links are down in the underbar. And oops, I just made the announcement officially multiple days ahead of time. Oh well, But anyway, the deaths in 715, we have Al-Wali the First, a Umayyad Caliph.
Also in 1554, we have Henry Grey, first Duke of Suffolk, English politician who was the first Lord Lieutenant Leicestershire.
Yep. 1848, we have John Quincy Adams, a U.S. politician who was the 6th President of the United States.
In 2004, we have Vijay Arand, Indian director, producer, screenwriter, and actor.
Is it just me, or the combination of actor, director, producer, screenwriter, that seems to be such a common thing. That appears to be the easiest job. So many people are doing those 4 things. I don't know. And that concludes the show. Once again, check the underbar for any links you may be interested in. For your dose of past events daily, I am A.O. Xander.
Senor Lunk.
And we stream every day. Time's still not set. Things are still kind of crazy. But hopefully after tomorrow, I can start getting some things situated. And, yeah. But anyway, don't forget to check the underbar for any links. I already said that. Which also has
Sohin TV on Twitch.
Yep. Don't forget to look right and left at every other section. Rate 5 thumbs and subscribe. Until tomorrow, you'll see us then. Toodles.